How many people were cleaned up in the 3 years from 1936 to 1938? According to the figures of the Soviet National Security Council, a total of 1.34 million people were persecuted during this period, of which 680,000 were shot. However, this number is a well-documented number in the Central Archives of the Soviet Union and does not include data from local archives. According to careful estimates by serious Soviet scholars, more than 3.14 million people were arrested. The total population of the Soviet Union was only 150 million. This is really exaggerated in the adult population. The impact is very far-reaching. This horror has caused the mind to become very solid and rigid. The later powerful conservative thoughts formed. Strong conservatives against reform. It is under the obstruction of this faction, from the post-war to Gorbachev. It delayed a series of reform opportunities in the Soviet Union. On the other hand, because of the large number of false and wrong cases of the Great Purge, people cannot digest it for several generations, and they have accumulated a lot of energy to reform. Finally, under the attack of these two thoughts of Gorbachev reform, he swung left and right and was erratic. Why did Stalin carry out a major purge? In fact, any major historical event did not happen by chance. The basic reasons in its development are hidden in its accumulation. Large cleaning. First of all, we must mention the Soviet Union's Great Leap Forward. The Great Leap Forward made in the Soviet era was mainly the Great Leap Forward of industrialization. The Soviet Union made a great leap forward as early as the period of wartime communism, but that was a last resort in the war years. The Soviet Union only started a real leap forward when it entered its first 5-year plan. During this period, the term, the Great Leap Forward, often appeared in the party newspapers. Jump like a tiger. It's a super strategy of full power. After Stalin took power through various means, then we need to start building. He believes that the most important thing for a strong country is industry, especially heavy industry. So the framework has formulated several 5-year plans. Work hard on industry. Development of ultra-high-speed planning economy. Fuck hard. Hope a miracle will be done. Collectively in agriculture is also a great leap forward for the agriculture version. As a result, both industrial and agricultural leap forward failed. Economic development has its objective laws. A miracle cannot be done. Dolly can only cause internal injury. The most direct and serious consequence is that it has occurred in difficult times. The difficult period of the Russians lasted for 2 years. It happened between 1932 and 1933. Many people starved to death. Conservatively estimated, there are millions, especially in agricultural collectivization. Stalin is very unkind, very direct and rough. Drive away rich peasants in all kinds. Various violent food collection. Who refuses to pay food? Just use the means. Even mass arrests. Do you think the farmers cannot rebel? The masses have a lot of opinions. The Soviet Central Committee has to admit it. There are a lot of turmoil among farmers. It posed a little threat to the system. You said the country's political economy. It's so dangerous. One direct consequence is the people miss those leaders who once wanted to do economics and livelihood. Thinking of their hands. The mouthpiece of the Soviet Union, Pratyabudita, and the masses have a lot of letters. The people are starting to point fingers at the Communist Party. Everyone thinks that those senior cadres were removed from office by Stalin, like Bukharin, Likov, Tomsky, etc. Their claim is correct. You see, when they were on stage, everything was sufficient. People can still have enough food. Once they are removed, you see nothing is gone now. Then don't talk about the common people. This emotion is growing in the party. Even if a leader like Bukharin is labeled as a rightist. Cadres at all levels, the majority of party members began to sympathize and support them. Then do you think this is worth it? Isn't this a doubt about the rout of the great Comrade Stalin? That is, the opposition to Comrade Stalin began to appear. Start gathering and start making trouble. This opposition was not accidental. In fact, it reflects the thoughts and emotions of the lower classes of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. It is also showing some ideological tendencies at the top. The first half of the 1930s. Most of the political bureau of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union advocates prudent policies, because everyone knows that national development has a process. How can it become fat in one bite? Really follow Stalin's policies step by step. Molotov is the only one in the Politburo. A few people in Kazanovic. But Stalin is the core after all. Everyone respects his status. Didn't fight him directly. Stalin himself has not reached the point of being arbitrary. Do most people's opinions? Is it still necessary to listen to it? In this case, between 1932 and 1934, the steady party is starting to win people's hearts. The status of Bukharin, which was defeated, has begun to recover. This is according to Stalin's temper. Then he would never tolerate it. As a charitable and powerful beast, any small fire that threatens his leadership, all are enough to make Stalin kill. You said that the Soviet Union's political model is highly centralized, but there is no supervision. This system causes cadres at all levels to be responsible only to the superior. Leader satisfaction is the most important. As long as you can execute the commands from the top, any actual situation and public opinion can be sidelined. So how to solve this bureaucracy from a system perspective? Stalin doesn't want to talk about this fundamental reason. Stalin pointed out in a very serious tone. The situation is very serious now, comrades. There are bad guys in our team. There are spies. There are conspiracies and destructionists. That's about fighting. Is this team going to wash it? Is it the Trots faction in the original party? Then this great cleaning. What is the most fundamental and direct fuse? It was a murder of Kirov in December 1934. Comrade Kirov is a member of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Central Secretary. Secretary of the Leningrad Municipal Party Committee. He was assassinated on December 1st, 1934. Who killed Comrade Kirov? Maybe it was done by the opposition. It may also be a very accidental personal murder. In the end, I didn't check it clearly. But no matter how Comrade Kirov was killed, Comrade Stalin caught this murder. Stalin believes Comrade Kirov was killed. It must have been done by the opposition. Let's talk about it. Is it necessary to do a major cleaning? Stalin takes Kirov's life. Start making a big deal. The crazy cleaning is about to begin. A few hours after learning that Kirov was killed, Stalin wrote to the Central Committee of the Soviet Union. A resolution was directly drafted. The Politburo then approved it. This resolution stipulates the investigation of terrorist cases must be completed within 10 days. Conclusion of the complaint. Reports must be delivered 1 week before the formal trial. No consideration of the complaint of the death row prisoner. Immediately after the death sentence is announced. This means that at least the litigation procedures are not needed. The necessary supervision of the death penalty is gone. According to the rough judgment of the poem, who else could kill Comrade Kirov? It must be the opposition, led by Kirov. So Comrade Stalin clearly instructed, go to the Kirovs to find this murderer. Then immediately the two big guys in the party, Kirov Kamenev, was arrested. Both of them were Stalin on the way to ascend to the throne of General Secretary. The biggest competitor. What about these two comrades and their relevant personnel? A sentence immediately. Exile. Then the central government sent a secret letter to the local party organizations. Everyone, please take a look at this secret letter. This title is about Comrade Kirov's murder. Consequences of killing-related incidents. It's already settled down here. This murder, it is the Trotsky molecule and a conspiracy that the Chinovivans were involved in. So the central government called. Investigate everything within the party and Trotsky. People who are involved and those who sympathize with them. This is a sudden. All kinds of interrogation methods have been applied. Then expand step by step. As long as it is in opposition. They have all participated in terrorist activities. It's at this critical moment. Stalin wrote an important letter. This letter says, in the history of the party, there have been various other anti-party groups. What Trotskyist? Democratic centralism. Workers' opposition. Rightist. People from these factions should be investigated carefully. What should local organizations do? Then they can only try my best to move forward. Who has opposed the great Comrade Stalin at all times? Who has expressed a different opinion? In the official statement about the murder of Gilov, it seems that the murder was done by a person with a fake party certificate, infiltrated into the office of Gilov and committed a murder. So, at the initiative of Stalin, a campaign to check party certificates. This movement is a formal task of checking party certificates. Actually, it's the party purge. The results of the campaign reviewed 81% of party members. 9% of them were expelled from the party. But this is not over yet. Central estimates. This expels Trotsky and Kinov's planning indicators. Not finished yet, because among the people who were fired, only 3% belong to this group. That data could explain limited opposition numbers. Not many people. This is not enough. This is obviously the local party organizations. Someone deliberately made a meme from it, resisting the Central Committee's decision. Ineffective implementation of the central government's intentions. Local organizations. That should be done well, too. Then continue to catch people. Keep doing it. Hundreds of hostile organizations and groups were immediately inspired. Confiscated 250,000 party certificates. This is done, in various periods, on various issues. All party members who have objections to Comrade Stalin's general line. Their materials are all in the hands of the security agency. These materials are equivalent to knowing them in hand. Where are the dirty places in our house? Comprehensive preparations and layings for the future large-scale cleaning work. Criminal rules are becoming more and more stringent. What laws to punish family members of treason? Directive to sentence children over 12 years of age to criminal offenses. For any Soviet citizen who defected abroad. Decree to the death penalty has begun to be issued. Large cleaning. It's really going to start washing. July 29, 1936. The Secretariat of the Central Committee will contact the party organizations in various places. Another secret letter. The title of this secret letter is about Trotsky Zanaviv. Secret letter from terrorist activities of counter-revolutionary groups. This marks a terrifying purge. Really started working. The first to bear the brunt. Sinoviev, Kamenev, etc. All the defendants finally admitted that they were associated with Trotsky, who fled abroad, and participated in the murder of Kirov. Also wanted to murder Stalin and other Soviet leaders. They were also forced to confess to other opposition members. Bukharin, Likov, Tomsky, and others participated in the counter-revolutionary conspiracy. That's good if you answer. All defendants were sentenced to death. Execute the gun immediately. But the Ministry of Households knows very clearly. These judgments are far-fetched. All are capturing. All are torture. The trial was held. The criminal was punished. This small number of opposition. All have been revealed. Things should be almost done. Don't let the situation expand further. Let's just stop here. Stop. But Stalin is now. Replace the boss of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Comrade Goya, who was in charge of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, said, "This is limited workability. Check a counter-revolutionary group. Just checking out a few people. It's obvious. Not competent for exposing the opposition group. Stop doing it. Go quickly while measuring. Now, let Comrade Yenov do it. This is very important for appointing. Originally, this large cleaning could be break directly, but now it starts to continue to again. The second public trial begins soon. The theme of this trial is to instill ideas against sabotage, and the main target of the attack is the economic management. You said that there was no fishing at work and no place. At that time, the Soviet Union was working hard to engage in heavy industry. On the one hand, the results are very good. Ultra-high indicators break production records every day. Announcement every day. On the other hand, thousands of companies. The minimum rules are not followed. Causes a lot of waste. All of these were accused of slacking off work. If slacking off work becomes a crime, it is equivalent to going to jail even if you go to work. It's not enough to change the stadium into a prison. If there is any crime, there are any party's top leaders. This second trial in Moscow will be judged. What erodes are the national economic managers and party cadres. Before and after this, Nichais was a man in the Politburo. He fought against Stalin in a desperate battle. Says it is necessary to protect leaders and technical experts in the heavy industry sector. But he finally fought for his life. It also failed to prevent the implementation of the major cleaning. Nichais is in the supreme leadership after his death. The biggest last resistance to the large cleaning will disappear. The large cleansing movement can finally start doing whatever you want. The subsequent opening of the session opened the final green light for the arrest and purge. Bukharin and Likov were arrested at this plenary session. Yenov made a speech at the plenary session. Stalin made a final summary report. Stalin says foreign agents have not only entered our grassroots organizations, and many important positions have been stolen, and some leaders are still very careless. The true face of the enemy cannot be clearly distinguished. The climax of the large cleansing is coming. From this plenary session to the third public trial in Moscow. For millions of economic cadres in the whole year. Party, government, and military cadres carried out major removals and arrests. So many people have won. Then who will work? Don't worry, there are still people. But they're all younger. The first 5-year plan to promote newcomers replaced one after another. The concept of opposition and people's enemies has also been infinitely expanded. Anyone who has sympathy for the opposition. Anything that has meaning to Stalin's route. Anyone who has supported the stable tendency of Bukharin. Even had disrespect and laughter to Stalin. All are regarded as enemies of the opposition and the people. Then review and arrest. This cleaning is from top to bottom. From members of the political bureau of the Central Committee to grassroots cadres in various places. Clean all. Among the 139 Central Committee members, 89 were shot. 1,108 of the 1966 representatives of the 17th National Congress disappeared. All ministers of the People's Committee were removed. The worst thing is the People's Committee for Tank Manufacturing. Personnel of the entire management agency. All factory managers. Most engineers and technical experts have been arrested. There are also aircraft and ship manufacturing, and light industry and other departments. There is also the Trade Union Communist Youth League, cadres from various social groups, even scientists and intellectuals. All were washed. The German Nazi spy next to him took a look. The Soviet Union is really lively. It was a kind of suspicion and slander. The Soviets can do it so ruthlessly. Then let's add fuel to the fire. So the Nazi forged the documents. Say Marshal Tukhachevsky is our good friend in Germany. The Soviet Union was indeed defeated by the anti-rogue. Stalin ordered, including Tukhachevsky, 7 most famous military commander-level generals. Pull them all out and shoot them. In the following 2 years, 11 National Defense People's Committee members disappeared. 75 members of the 80 Supreme Military Commission disappeared. There are only 2 marshals left for the 8 admirals. 90% of army generals and 44% of officers were shot. The cleaning is not only the cadres. All the broad masses of society have not escaped. Rich peasants exiled in agricultural collectivization. All were labeled with a new hat. The main culprit of anti-Soviet and sabotage crimes. Basically, they were all pulled out and killed. Their family members were also imprisoned and exiled. In addition, all Germans who worked in defense factories were arrested. It also eliminated the Polish spy group and Japanese spy agencies. In 1937, large-scale migration and expulsion of unreliable elements in the border areas were carried out. This biggest action was to bring more than 170,000 Koreans in the far eastern frontier region, moved to Kazakhstan and Uzbek. Of course, this is not enough. Due to the continuous development of skepticism and whistleblowing activities. Later on, people who have had some taints in history, all were pulled out for rectification. For example, you have had unclean experiences before the revolution. You participated in the White Army during the Civil War. You have other political backgrounds, or it's been linked to the opposition. You've been in the past exercises. You were expelled from the party for various reasons before. Or you were German, Poles, North Korean. Don't talk nonsense. All need to be involved. The scope of the involvement is now amazing. All aspects of society have been designed. The largest cleaning operation was formed. The large cleaning movement occurred when Stalin had some problems with his understanding of domestic class lawsuits. Of course, exercise is effective. It must have eliminated some corrupt elements and class enemies. But this literal is too large. A large number of differences within the people have been regarded as enemy-to-people issues. Killed a large number of good comrades unjustly. Killed a large number of innocent people. Soviet Union from top to bottom. From cadres to masses. From the local to the army. From intellectuals to engineering people. Chile is overturned. This led to the collapse of the Soviet Union.